Hello everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Are you ready for the December challenge? I've been working my bum off trying to get ready for December 1st so that we can play together for the month of December. So I have no idea how long the video is. Good luck to you. We rebuilt a book. I took pages and gessoed them and sewed them and then made signatures with them and put them into the book. So this is just a start for you, inspiration for you, so you can add whatever you want into this journal, or it can be a gift for someone who loves to journal as well. To glue pictures in, to write in, whatever. Lots of little pockets to tuck tags into. So I hope you have fun with this. See you on the table. Okay, here's our December challenge. It is a junk journal, and I've redone the cover of it. Very fun with rivets. And then on the inside I put underpants because it was the skeleton of a book. So I rebuilt it a little bit and then put underpants on it. And then the whole book is filled just with old pieces of things that were laying around in my studio. I gessoed them, and then I sewed on them. You do not have to sew on them, of course. You can glue them. And this is for inspiration only, because you are going to take off and do your own thing with your junk journal. Your junk journals, I should say. So these are ready for Stabilo or Distress ink, or pictures, or writing, or whatever you choose to do in your junk journal, or give it away as a gift. So each signature, I have 3 signatures in the book, and I believe I put 10 pages in each book, which means it has 20 pages because they're doubled. I used old dictionary pages, music sheets. Each signature is held together by watercolor paper because that's what's strong enough to hold the signatures together. I sewed envelopes in. I sewed ribbons in. You can tuck things inside those ribbons. So distress ink around the edges of this, or Stabilo, or doodles and markings. This is a pocket. Another ribbon you can tuck things into. More pockets, lots of pockets. This one I just stitched around the edge. Ribbon. This is from Joe. Thank you, Joe. He mailed that to me a while ago. It's been just waiting for a new home. Pockets. This is the center of a signature. So I put a hardy piece of paper in the center of the signatures as well, since that's where the wear and tear happens. This is a piece of old burlap. This page was torn, so I just sewed wonky along that to reinforce that. Children's book pages, dictionary, has some spray off on it, some gesso, ribbon in the corner, tuck something in there. And here's the other side of that watercolor paper from the second signature. Here's our third signature. Fun card to tuck things behind. This opens up, you can tuck things in there, tuck things here. This opens up. Another wonky tear, love those. Playing card. This is probably a deli sheet, or a jelly print, probably. This has lots of ribbons to tuck things into. Pockets. Blubby sewing, which I love to leave those things. Here's the centerpiece that is sturdy. It's a calendar. Pocket. Envelope. The other side of those ribbons. Fold out. the other side of that junk paper. Another card to tuck something in this way. And that is the end. So sky's the limit as to what you can do from here. Here's the binding. It's a 3-hole binding. Holds the 3 signatures in, 1, 2, and 3. So that is our project for the month of December. It's a December challenge. So you can create the book, and you can also embellish your pages. This would be a lovely gift for someone. I would go in here and I would decorate the pages with some distress ink, add some color to it, make it look more finished for their journaling. Alright, are you ready for the December challenge? We are making a junk journal. So I have a bunch of papers here. This is pattern instructions, music paper, fun dictionary or something like that, something from a book, junk mail, a survey, more pages from books, a calendar, more calendar pages, book pages, some watercolor paper. These are important. Just some junk mail, scraps, who knows what we're going to do with those, pockets, more envelopes, paper that we've used, and coffee filters. So we are going to be using a lot of this in our junk journal, and we are just going to get started. So in order to make the journal something that you can write on, it has to have, in my world anyway, it needs to have gesso on it. So any of the old gesso pages that you have laying around, this is a great time to use them. And I am just going to grab some gesso, and I'm just going to brayer it on. Keep it simple here, because we're going to be doing a lot of pages. I don't know if I said it or not, but I have not picked out the book cover yet. It doesn't have to cover everything, because this is indeed a junk journal. So you'll want some of the junk to show. And you'll need a spot to put these in while they dry. So if I take some gesso and I smush it at the top of the page, and then I take my brayer and just work it down the page, then I can stick a like-minded page on there. And they'll both be covered. You're going to be looking for shortcuts. Okay, here is our stack of junk papers with gesso on one side. And I am going to take them with me today. And I have to do some gallery sitting. So I'm going to take these with me today, and I am going to gesso the other side. Okay, I have both sides gessoed. Some pieces stuck to some pieces, and I'm okay with that. So what I'm going to do with all of these now is just fold them in half. Doesn't matter how big they are. I'm just going to fold them in half. Like even this one, I'm just going to fold it in half and start collecting those on the side. So this is a long one, and I'm still going to fold that in half. So go through your pile of goodies. Some of these are just gorgeous. This one's ripped. I am okay with that. This, a piece stuck to it because I just piled them all on top of each other. Now I'm going to be working with 3 signatures in my book, and these signatures are made with watercolor paper. Alright, they're still a little bit damp, so they're not making much noise yet. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start grabbing pages from my pile Start bonding with my pages. So here are my potential signatures, 1, 2, and 3. So what works for me is to have a sturdy page on the exterior of the signature and a sturdy page on the middle of the signature, because there's going to be holes in here, and so I want the weaker pieces in between those strong pieces. I'm going to clip these pages together so that I can work with them. Find the center of your signature and put a clip on either side because you don't want them to move. Make sure and really crease your fold when you're clamping. Not clapping. Although you could clap at this point in time. Everything's pretty fun. Alright, so that's a signature. Okay, my signatures are all clipped together. All the pages are clipped together in each signature. I have 10 pages that I'll put in each signature. I think that's going to be enough for the size of my book. So this is the book skeleton that I'm going to be using. I believe this came from Dana. So I want to strengthen the center and then cover everything with underpants. So I'm going to take my Mod Podge, put it right down that spine area. Lay my paper bag down in there. I want to make sure to have it up and over that edge so that it's nice and strong. So I Mod Podged it on here, and I will Mod Podge under here as well. So this is nice and strong. Now what I'm going to do is just cover the whole thing with underpants right across. These are the lovely underpants my husband gave me. What a guy. Alright, so cover the inside of your book if you choose to do so. If yours needs strengthening or covering, now would be a good time to do that. Okay, here is my book. Here is my coffee. And here is my book all reinforced. Okay, that's lovely. Alright, I'm going to work on the book cover first. I've grabbed a cabinet card. Now, cabinet card is just a picture that's on cardboard from the 40s, I think, maybe from before that. I've looked it up. But and then I'm going to cut a hole in this cover. I'm leaving this on here because I think that that's fun. And then we'll put that on there somehow. So, first off, let's measure this. Get an idea of where that's going to go. It's all bumpy. That's really close to that edge, isn't it? Let's bring it over just a smudge. Good. Bring in my cutting mat and my relatively new blade. And I'm going to cut this out. Lay my ruler down on that line and just go for it. Okay, I had somebody ask me if I had some tips on some hand health for when we're doing these cuttings in the cardboards and in the book covers and things. And all I can tell you is use the sharpest blade you can get your hands on, because that will really, really help. You can get things done in 1 or 2 swipes, where if it's a dull blade, you're going to be working at it 3, 4, 5 times in the same spot. So the blades are not that expensive, especially if you go to a hardware store and get them. They're cheaper there than they are at a craft store, yet they are the same. So there's my save money tip. See if it fits. Oh, it does. Okay, good. All right, I have my crocodile, and I have some hemp string and a large-eyed needle, and my book cover and my cabinet card. And I'm going to punch a hole in all 4 corners, exactly measuring so that they are all the same. Ha, ha, ha. I think we'll go here. And here. And some hubby is playing with something out there in his studio. All right, so if we put this in here, we are going to need a hole someplace around here, 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 and here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch those, okay? So I have 4 in the corners of the picture. Out of here for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to punch a hole here, and maybe here, here, and here. That is my intention. Okay. Now I'm cutting 4 pieces of the hemp, between 6 and 8 inches, someplace in there, not all the same length. Oh, look at these beautiful little holes that we popped out. All right, I thought I'd need the needle, but I don't think I do. I'm going to come in here and here. And tie a square knot, which is just knot it one way and then the other way. And I'm going to do that to all 4 sides. So I have the holes and the hemp thread. I'm just going to leave those edges or the strings hanging for now because I don't know what's going to happen with them. I'm going to take my sandpaper and rough up the edges of the book cover here and the edges of the book cover here. Alright, it's been a little while since we played with the rivet gun, so I have some short rivets here, 4 of them, and then 4 of the washers that go with the rivets. So now we're going to decide where we're going to rivet this. I want it in the corners here and the corners here. I think that'll be enough. So I'm going to poke 4 more holes in the corners with my crocodile. Use the small hole puncher in the crocodile. Decide where I want this. This is kind of fun right there. All right, that is where I want the hole. Now I'm going to install the rivet. My rivet gun, measure that. It's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, so maybe 5/8 of an inch for the rivets. The rivet, the long part of the rivet goes in the rivet gun. I'll poke the rivet through the first hole, poke the rivet through the second hole, put the washer on there, and then I squeeze the gun. And I'm going to do this off screen because it's pretty noisy. Well, I make it pretty noisy. So here's our beautiful rivet. My hemp cord got caught in the rivet, so of course when I tried to pull it out of the rivet, out of the rivet, it tore the hemp cord. And I am, yes, okay with that. All right, so for the second one, I'm going to do them one at a time. And so now it's time for the rivets. Rivet gun, rivet, push it through the holes, and a washer on the back. Now you've seen it done. Now you know how to do it. Put your rivets in all 4 holes. All right, I ended up putting 2, 4, 6 rivets in. We've got a little bit of buckling. I'm okay with that. It's a divine book cover. So here's the inside of the rivets. I think that that is wonderful. There's a hole that I made by mistake. I can put some underpants over that. Now, because I am a precise girl, I am going to guesstimate where the center of that binding is, and I'm going to make a line. And then halfway between that line and the end of the binding, and another one here. And they'll be approximately perfect. You think there is such a thing? I think so. There we go. And my signatures, some of them are shorter than others, so we're going to have to deal with that. That's okay. It just happens to be what I have. If you have taller watercolor papers, please use them. That would be great. So I have about 7 inches there. Okay. So my 3 holes need to be within that 7 inches. And they can be even, or they don't have to be even, doesn't matter. So if we put this here and here, okay. So we'll put a dot at 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at 3.5. That looks good. And so we'll need a hole here, and a hole here, 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 and here. And I'm going to go in with my crocodile, and I'm going to make those holes. 3, 6, 9 holes. I'm going to use the bigger hole punch. I wish I had a whole bunch of eyelets, but I don't. I'm going to take this watercolor page off one of the signatures. Always looking for a softer, easier way to do things. Okay. And those holes will be here, here, and here. Go ahead and pop those holes. So here's the watercolor paper that I put the 3 holes in. I have flattened a signature, re-clipped it. Alright, I have my 3 holes punched. I did use my crocodile to do that. My ever-steady crocodile. My ever-abused crocodile. I'm going to take this watercolor paper off here, put it on the next one, do the same thing. Pop 3 holes in the pages. Okay, I have the holes all popped in the signatures. Make sure your signatures are right side up if that matters. I'm going to take some hemp string. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 lengths of the signature. I'm going to put it through my big eye needle because that's what's easiest for me. And I'm going to work on the center signature first. So if it matters which signature is in the center or first and last, now's a good time to decide. Doesn't matter to me. And I would like my knots on the outside of my book. Okay, so I'm going to start in the center. And I'm going to drive my needle through that center hole, bottom hole, bottom hole, come up to the top hole in the book, top hole in the signature, come back up through the middle hole again. We'll do this again on the next hole. Alright, now I'm going to put 2 strings on one side of that, 2 strings on the other side of that, and I am firmly going to tie a knot. This is a fun place to have beads and dangles. So that's hole number 1. Bring signature number 2 in. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give it a little bit more. We'll go 5 on that one. Grab my large-eyed needle. I'm double stranding it, give it extra strength. Alright, let's do that again. Alright, going through the center hole. Get my next signature. Come up through that center hole. Make sure my signatures are right side up. Yes, they are. So far, so good. Down through the bottom hole of this signature, through the bottom hole of the book cover. Little knot in the hemp there. Down through the top hole of the book cover. Top hole of the signature, back through the middle hole of the signature and the book. Pull that tight. Make sure there's 2 strings on one side of that. 2 strings on the other side of that. That's what holds it in place. And knot it. Knot it. Alright, so all these clips have become cumbersome. I am going to remove these clips and put the last signature in. You want to watch me put the last signature in? Why not? So we have 3 holes left, right? Correct? And 1 signature left. Alright, so I'll bring my hemp thread in again. I like the little bit longer, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lengths of your signature. Your large eye needle, double strand it. Oh, gotta mend that. Loose underpants, no good. Alright, needle through the center hole from the exterior. Make sure your signature is right side up. Through that center. It doesn't matter if you go through the top or the bottom hole next. It really doesn't. Either one on the end will work. I'm going through the top. Coming down, go through the bottom, the hole in the book cover. Back through the center hole. Ooh, lots of danglies going on. Love that. Tighten the hemp string on that last signature. Strings on one side, strings on the other. This is what holds it in place. Okay? And knot it. Lots of fun dangles. Let's take those clips off there. And here's our fun junk journal. Wow. Isn't that fun? So now, artist's choice, dangles, embellish. Oh my goodness. Go create, go play, go have fun. This is our December challenge. Go forth. Go forth.